The foundational idea is the good of life. The idea that life is a primordial, fundamental gift. It's a fundamental good, but not an absolute one. Based on the human condition, we're going to die. It's not life at all costs. Our goal is to preserve life as best we know how.
Many people think that the Catholic view is vitalism, but it's not. Vitalism would be the view, if anybody holds it, that not only ordinary means, but all extraordinary means are morally obligatory. That is not the Catholic view.
It's interesting, this goes back to the Middle Ages, and people have said the Church has changed its mind on things like assisted nutrition and hydration. The technology changes, so one gets to look at the technology in this scenario. What's in a third world is going to be something that's extraordinary versus what's very ordinary in the first world countries.
The older term is ordinary and extraordinary care, and sometimes that's useful and sometimes it's not. The trend in bioethics today is going with disproportionate and proportionate care. And the key phrase for either way you want to say it is, does this offer reasonable hope of benefit to the patient? Reasonable hope of benefit. And that's critical in determining what's proportionate or what's disproportionate.
And so we look at the scenario that a patient is in and the burden versus the benefit of a treatment, never the burden of living. Is the treatment itself imposing an excessive burden on the patient? Is it causing more suffering to the patient?
It's not wrong to use extraordinary means. In fact, some people might choose, if they have the financial wherewithal for this and they have a reason. Like, let's say they're waiting for a loved one who's overseas to come home before they die because they want to talk to them and be with them. Well, then in that case, someone might say, I want to continue this extraordinary means. One of the things that the Church says, both in the ethical and religious directives and in the Catechism, is that it is the patient who gets to decide whether to forego extraordinary treatment or not. Nobody else. The patient and their loved ones. And so there is a sense in which everybody's end of life is unique to them. In the case of decisions about extraordinary treatment, two people could choose the exact opposite, and they'd be both following their conscience. The Catholic view includes an explicit awareness of what we could call the humble acceptance of the reality of death. We're all going to die, and it's an entrance into the next life, which we want to prepare for. So death is a reality that the Catholic Church actually accepts, which is why it is not immoral to cease from using or to even start using what are called extraordinary means. But caring, lovingly caring, including ordinary physical care like moving the person around in the bed, room temperature, nutrition, hydration, as I said, even antibiotics. You can think of others. The Church would never stop, because the person would die by withholding that ordinary care and also be abandoned. Not just would be killed by withholding ordinary care, but it's an act of abandoning a person.